Ladies and gentlemen, soccer fans here in St. Louis and around the world, hola, and welcome to another episode of Atletico TV. One of the hosts, Josh McGee, here, joined by, as always, Ricky Garza. Ricky, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Exactly, in person, back in the studio, back with all the decor. Happy to be back. Again, thank you to Local Network STL for providing us this space to do this show. It feels a little bit more normal, of course, as things, continue to move forward on that front. But it's been tough, but we've been able to make it work here over these past few weeks with these Zoom episodes, and hopefully, again, we deliver another great episode this week. But we got a lot to talk about, Rick. The summer of soccer, it keeps going, does not stop, whether you're at the local level or at the very tippy top at the international level. And that's how we're going to start off this show this week. Again, there's plenty of stuff going on right now, but of course, what is in the news at this moment is the U.S. men's national team. They are competing at the Gold Cup. They've played all three of their group matches so far. Happy to announce, for those who haven't seen, they have advanced out of their group. They've won it. They were the top team amongst Canada, Martinique, and Haiti. All three of those matches, the U.S. were able to come up with 3 points. It was a narrow victory with Haiti to start. Then I believe it was a 6-1 beatdown of Martinique, something we should expect from this team. And then this past Sunday, Canada, kind of a rivalry matchup there. A team that's been improving over the years. It's got some solid players. The U.S. scored the fastest goal in U.S. men's national team history, 21 seconds, or 20 seconds, I believe, from Shaq Moore. And that was it. The U.S. were able to hold on for the clean sheet and keep a 1-0 victory there. So, Rick, we advance out of this group. We await to see basically the loser of Costa Rica versus Jamaica to see who we will face in the next round. But talk to me a little bit about your initial impressions of what you've seen from the U.S. men's national team these past 3 matches.
Yeah, it's all good progression for sure. Kind of ending on the last game here versus Canada. I do like the 5-3-2 that USA has played against Canada. I think it's well balanced with the players that we have. We need 3 guys in the middle of the field. It does open up for players like Acosta to be more dynamic. But also it kind of morphs into a 5-2-3 with pressing with 3 players up top at times too. But either way, the 5 players in the back and that can help join the attack really suits USA well. So, Belgium utilized it. A lot of pro teams are going and utilizing. Mexico is one of the first teams to utilize that several years ago. And it seems to be coming into the modern game. And I got to say, it looks good with USA.
Yeah, for the people who haven't caught on to this tournament just yet, this is not the group that's going to the World Cup by any stretch of the imagination, but this is something to give experience to some players to see what you have, right? To see if you can build some depth, some guys who might come onto a World Cup qualifying roster and potentially even a World Cup roster. I like what Greg Berhalter has been doing so far. He's been experimenting. He's trying to see if there's a formation that can get the best out of his side. That's something the U.S. has to utilize, right? We got talent in spaces, but we're going to need a little boost in other places. Right. And I think a formation that fits the team is what's going to get it done. This 5 at the back, it's not something we've really used in the past. But when you've got guys, you got your 3 at the back. Now we need to see what happens with Walker Zimmerman in this injury. But you got him, Miles Robinson, and James Sands, who has really looked good in his limited action. And then you've got these wingbacks who have been doing an excellent job so far at this tournament. Shaq Moore is just, completely taken over. Somebody who's barely gotten a look during these important matches for the U.S., and he's been doing fantastic. Like you said, these holding midfield players, you got Acosta, you got Bucio, the Sporting KC player, who's looked pretty good in the middle, and then up top. Again, we've been calling for this for a while, and hopefully this is just the beginning for this guy, but Daryl DK has been a revolutionary figure up top for the U.S. 6 appearances so far. He's already got 3 goals. He's looked the part for the U.S. men's national team. Not to take away from what Jossie Zardes has been doing, who I think gets maybe a little bit too much flack for what he is, but to find a way to get both those guys on the field, I think would be important. You've also got someone like a Matthew Hoppe from Schalke, who looked really good in his first action for the U.S. men's national team. So there's a lot of options and a lot of players to look out for here going forward at this tournament. Now, of course, it is Haiti. It is Martinique. Yeah. Canada was a little bit of a step up, but this next match coming up, whether it be versus Costa Rica, which would be really tough, or Jamaica, who, of course, we have previous, bad history with in the Gold Cup, this will be an interesting step. So going forward, based off of what you've seen, Rick, in terms of, are you thinking that Berhalter's going to stick with this formation, or do you think once the competition changes a little bit that we could see some shifting back to somewhat what we're used to expecting from the U.S. men's national team?
Well, I think it's, typically, U.S. has had some pretty solid center backs in our history, but going against world class players, it's not quite enough. I think the five in the back, with having three center backs, would really balance out our defense for sure. We've improved over the years. Acosta replacing Bradley, that's a huge step up. DK replacing Altidore, that's a huge step up. So USA up the middle is looking stronger, and now going with three backs behind, I think there's a strong improvement in our system. And I would prefer us to stay with this, with what's working, because like I said, then you can bring in some of these attacking players that can do their thing, and you have balance in the backfield. We've been burned before with guys getting forward and getting counterattacked. We're not as strong defensively one-on-one. So this formation allows you to always have 2v1 defensively as well as 2v1 offensively, and it gives Berhalter an opportunity to bring some guys in, like you said, and give them some experience because you have that balance and cover around them.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to that Canada match again, I think in the past, the U.S. have been guilty, especially against much better competition, but I think just in general, have been guilty of letting the opponent kind of set the pace or kind of get things going early and then basing off what we do off of what they've been doing. This Canada match, we got the ball and we went right at them and we scored. And from then on, you can get to control the tempo and how the match plays out because you have the lead early on. So I think that's what we got to go with, right? The formation that gets us, in front early, whether it be on the scoreboard, of course, ideally, but just within the match, how do we kind of impose our style a little bit? And that's what we've seen so far from this five at the back system. It allows them to control things on that end, have more people in the midfield, kind of break things up and send it the other way. So that's what's been working. I agree. If it's working, don't stop. So
yeah, and then the second half, Josh, they're defending a 5-4-1. You're defending the lead. I mean, 9 guys on a low block there. It's hard for any team to get through that, and still being able to counterattack with multiple players. So it's a weapon, man. It's a weapon, and hopefully USA can utilize it at the next round.
So, I mean, we're here. We're at the stage where we had hoped the U.S. men's national team would be. They won all 3 of their matches. Can't complain with that. And now we look ahead to these other stages here at the Gold Cup because, Mexico, they found a way to win their group. You know that they're lurking here down the road. Like you said, you're going to see either a Costa Rica or Jamaica coming up. Those are 2 of the top teams here in CONCACAF. You've got Honduras, somewhere else lurking around. And, again, you never know in terms of a surprise team who might be ready to go on any given day. So U.S. is going to have to stay at the top of their game, but things have looked good so far. I was unsure a little bit about the roster going into this, about some of the choices, but those choices have looked really good, and this new experimentation with the formation has paid off really well so far. So again, something to look forward to here. The U.S. got some time off as the rest of the group stage matches get played. I believe they'll be in action on Sunday, so a little bit under a week to go for their next match, but still a good start for the U.S. men's national team here at the Gold Cup. Okay, again, like we talked about with the Gold Cup, there's been several other teams in action. The big match this past weekend was Mexico versus El Salvador, Rick. Mexico found a way to get back to the top of that group. They drew 0-0 in their first match at the Gold Cup, but they were able to find a way, win their last 2 matches. This one 1-0 over El Salvador to take the top spot in Group A. Again, talk to me a little bit about, you saw the match, what you saw from Mexico, how they were able to get this done.
Yeah, it's kind of same USA. They scored early. Mexico scored really early. They controlled the game for sure, but El Salvador took it to them. They on a free kick late in the second half. It could have been a goal. It went right off the post for El Salvador. That could have been 1-1. Could have been a different game the rest of the way. So they were pushing it. So Mexico still was the stronger side, but I gotta hats off to El Salvador, taking it to them, and look forward to talking more about them with Luis.
Well, this is going to be a very happy episode this week on Atletico TV because a lot of us are moving on to bigger and better positions. And one of those guys we're going to talk to here and catch up with will be Coach Luis Swisher. Luis, it's been a long time, man, but for those who have not heard, tell us, everybody, the good news.
Thanks, Josh. Excited for the new opportunity. It came so fast, everything, but excited to be obviously working with San Luis City now in their academy. Looking forward to it. We already started And yeah, excited.
So you'll be part of, right now, there's 2 teams. It's the under-16s and the under-17s. They'll be starting up here with MLS Next in the fall. In terms of your interactions so far with the club and your fellow coaches, what can you tell us a little bit about what you guys have been working on behind the scenes?
Well, yeah, I mean, we started with 2 groups, with the U16s and U17s. Obviously, with the lead of Andreas Schumacher, which he's still not here, but he's coming soon. And then, yeah, I'm excited to be working. I'm, obviously more leading towards the 17s. I'm in charge of that group for now. And yeah, excited to be building everything from scratch and starting to work with all the players. We got already 4 days of training, as the league starts pretty early this season compared with other years. And yeah, trying to put the players as quick as possible, obviously, getting ready for the season.
Rick, you got anything for Luis?
Yeah. Well, before we dive digger in city, what did you think about the Mexico El Salvador game?
I got to see some pieces, because at the same time was the Guatemala Trinidad and Tobago game. So obviously, because it was the last fixture, they play at the same time. Get to change it a little bit. Sometimes I didn't see it all, but yeah, from the highlights and some of the information, I thought that El Salvador, and also the game that they play versus Guatemala, I think El Salvador has been progressing a lot, pretty quick, and they've been doing good games. I heard obviously Mexico had a pretty good first half, but then the second half was not as great as the first one, and then Salvador kind of grew a little bit. And at the end, good result. Obviously, for Salvador, then lost the game. It's always playing versus Mexico and doing a good game is always hard. So at the end, they qualified. They advanced as the second of the group, and with good games versus Trinidad and Guatemala. And the other side, Mexico, not a great start versus Trinidad. They kind of got momentum versus us, versus Guatemala, and they kind of sealed the things versus El Salvador. But yeah, I mean, I would say from the 2 of them, Mexico with obviously more ups and downs, I would say. Salvador more, obviously, even though they lost the last game, more consistent in the way that they play. And yeah, looking forward to see who they match in the next round, and it will be a good to see how much El Salvador keeps growing, and then Mexico, obviously, it's always one of the favorites, but yeah, a lot of doubts moments, so we'll see how that goes.
And what did you take away from the Guatemala and Trinity game?
I mean, I think the problem lately, obviously, with Guatemala, if you guys didn't know, but we lost our qualifying to the Gold Cup, but then we got invited because of Curacao. I would say a lot of inconsistency. Obviously, imagine those guys that they were out, then the last minute telling them, hey, we need to build a team. They fired the coach 3 days before they got the invitation back to the Gold Cup. So they announced the under-20 coach as a head coach, and he had 24 hours of basically knowing the players, because even though they're in the same, let's say in the same place, he didn't have any interaction with the first team, or there was no connection at all. So all this inconsistency of things, I think it leads to not good things, and that's what happened at the end. I feel at moments that the team try. I would say the best moment of the 3 games was the second half versus Trinidad and Tobago. That's why they tied the game. They were losing 1-0, but not with a lot of, let's say, the eager with all these things to win the games. I think they've been through a lot of things, the players, and finally, I think they got a little bit loose and relaxed. They tried to attack, and they did create many chances in the second half. And but yeah, I think it's just a reflection of how our soccer is back there, and there's a lot of obviously, bad decisions from the FA, and a lot of things that is not going the correct way. But I mean, hopefully they can turn it out and then focus in the future, because no more tournaments coming soon, no qualifying for us, and that's pretty tough. So you got, at least you can say the positive, you have time, but that's always the same time. They always have time, and then when it comes, it's always a last minute thing. So it's unfortunately, obviously, because especially me being part of it in the past, you always want them to succeed, and you always want them to look good.
So now that you're in the city, is there any bright players from any South American countries might get a shot?
Well, in fact, we have a couple. Obviously there's a couple, obviously, diversity we got from what we have now. The idea is obviously get what is the best over here, and there is a couple kids. We have, for example, a kid from Nepal. We have a kid from El Salvador. And then obviously, I mean, there's the rest that we have in the area, but I think as we started getting to know, obviously there's gonna be more interest from a lot of players, but from the recruiting and the scouting. And in fact, there was a kid from Guatemala. Unfortunately, they like him, but due to obviously the age level FIFA rules at the moment, still working on that. Once obviously once he's able to play in the future, but there's a follow up on that. So there is obviously opportunities for everyone. There's a mix, obviously. Most of our kids are from here, from San Luis, but there's a few obviously with different backgrounds, in case of the Nepal kid and the Salvadorian kid in the squad.
Well, it's great news to hear you a city. It's even greater for the diverse community in St. Louis to have someone like you that's going to have eyes on it, because we all know, representing this community, that you do find the best players regardless of anything, any background. And so we are very motivated to see you grow this program, knowing you personally. And we're just very excited for you. We're blessed to have you with Atletico TV when we did. And we just wish you nothing but the best. And I just wanted to be able to say that before Josh has some more amazing questions to break down, because I know he's ready to chomp at the bit. But I just wanted to take some time and tell you that, Luis. Really proud of you.
No, thanks. I appreciate as well the opportunity, and to work for the summer and for a little bit before the summer with you guys, and yeah, excited, like I said, with the new opportunity.
Well, I mean, pretty much Ricky covered the gambit there, right? We're really excited for you to take this next step in your career. We know you've been working towards it. It's been great to get your expertise, not just on the show, just in side conversations, and to see you out there coaching from this past summer now to move up to the next level and help out with St. Louis City SC. We're all really excited for that. And Luis, I think really just the last question would be, I know fans are, again, really excited for this, because this will be the first team that represents St. Louis City SC. You guys will be getting out there this fall. I don't know if you know particulars yet of your guys' league. Obviously, you're familiar with MLS Next, but in terms of the timeline from this point right now, you guys said you had been training for a little bit. The timeline then up to the first game, what is it right now in terms of what you guys are working on? And in terms of until that first match, how long until that would you reckon, or would you guess would be until your guys' first match?
Well, there's a rough idea of when it could start. The league hasn't sent a schedule yet, but it's about August 21st, around either that weekend or a weekend after, depending on the league when they really obviously make this schedule for us. But that's roughly when we start. We plan for the next 5 weeks, obviously, till that date. Like I said, working with the guys and getting them to try to place in their heads the idea, the philosophy, and the game model, and the way that we want to play, and the way that STL City wants to play. And yeah, it's gonna take a time, obviously, because of not only the diversity of clubs that we have, and of kids coming into our new team. So It will take time, but to be fair, I think we're super pleased what we have found in the last days. Obviously, we have no doubt that they're the best players that are in the area as it is for now, but this is like everything in life, right? It is, you need to maintain and keep yourself proven that you're the best one, and that includes us as a staff as well. So at the end, we'll continue to try to get ready and get prepared for our first match, which like I said, we don't know exactly, but that's roughly when we start. And yeah, everything is leading towards this is leading towards in 2 years getting a first team, and hopefully, like I said, the plan it is to have a couple kids from. We know that not all of them are gonna be pros. The idea is to place as many as we can. At the end, it depends on the players. We just provide environment, provide the tools for them to accomplish their goals. Everyone has a different path, and we just here like a resource for them to help them and guide them towards their goals. And hopefully, as like I said, all of the 50 guys that we have, they want to become pros, right? So we'll see who can make it.
Well, we know a few years down the road that when one of those players makes it from the academy team up to the first team, we'll know someone who had a hand in that success. And that would be you, Luis. So again, congrats on your new position. We're looking forward to all of the conversations we'll have here down the road, bringing in your expertise. Now, of course, you're with St. Louis City SC's Academy. So Luis, thanks again. Great to catch up with you as always, man.
No, thank you, Josh, and thank you, Ricky. Like I said, I enjoyed my time being with you guys, dissecting a little bit about the games and everything, and talking about soccer in general in the community. And exciting times because of what is coming with City, and super pleased, like I said, and excited for this new opportunity. And at the end, we'll keep moving, and we'll definitely catch up later, sooner or later.
All right. Fantastic. You want to close us out, Josh?
Sounds good. All right, guys. I mean, again, catching up with Luis here. Great to see him get his new job with St. Louis City SC. We're going to get a little more into the club, the news from the past week here on Atletico TV.
Well, once again, just want to say a big congrats to Luis on this new gig. It's very exciting to see, his development, the development here in his career, and of course, getting the chance to talk with him during the first few episodes of the show, doing the coach's breakdown, watching him talk with you, Rick, was just a joy to watch, and to see him now take this next step is really exciting. So again, big congrats to Luis, who's joining quite the star-studded staff here for the St. Louis City SC Academy teams. Of course, they're going to be getting play here soon in MLS Next, and they made the big announcement about the rest of their coaching staff, which will be headed up by Andreas Schumacher, former Stuttgart assistant coach, former Bundesliga player, over 10 years of experience, I believe, in the Bundesliga, is going to be the head of the under-16 and under-17 teams. When he eventually makes it back to St. Louis, because of COVID protocols right now, I believe he's still stuck over there in Europe. So I believe Lutz is going to be the acting head coach at the moment. But again, when Schumacher gets over here, he will assume those duties. And this coaching staff, I think, is really cool because, behind Schumacher, it's basically all St. Louis guys, but they come from a variety of backgrounds. You've got David Critchley, who is the Lufuse athletic technical director, who has a lot of experience from England. Tim Kelly, who's the former St. Louis FC goalkeeping coach, a lot of experience there. Charles Rankin, who of course you're very familiar with as well, will be assuming some type of personal training, individual player training type role with the team. You got Elvir Kavitic, Bosnian descent, who will now be taking over as an assistant coach. So Rick, I think it's really cool because it's a very diverse staff, but behind Schumacher, it's all STL guys, right? So that's kind of the really cool thing about this staff.
Yeah, it's a good first step for sure. Bringing in local guys in there. I think there's a lot of other local guys in the area that need to get an opportunity. But I do enjoy seeing that Lutz is bringing in some professional guys from abroad, and I think that is key and very important. So I hope to see more quality local hires and international hires.
And you would think, hopefully, as we get more academy teams, right? There's only the two right now that'll begin competing. Once we fill out the actual academy and get all the age groups in, you'd like to think that there will be a good mix of, professionals from abroad and also, guys who have been putting in the work here as well. I think hopefully the initial staff announcement here signals that they are aware of that. And again, just very exciting to see someone who we know, Luis, getting this opportunity, but also, again, guys who have been a part of programs around here for a while now, who have started their own programs, be a part of this new venture. So again, very exciting times for them right now. No player announcements yet. I know there's just been some inner rumblings. I think they've got the team picked out already. I would imagine they've pretty much started training here soon. So in terms of the official roster, that'll be announced soon. But otherwise, again, they'll be starting up play here within the next couple of months. It's very exciting because they'll be the first representatives of St. Louis City SC. So again, something to look forward to there. City had a busy week last week, Rick. I was out at the announcement for their brand new founding partner, which is Together Credit Union. Must say, not a company that I was familiar with initially, but I learned a lot about them. They are STL made, which is important, again, continuing that trend of backing St. Louis companies here. And some interesting things that were brought up. They're going to be a main sponsor for one of the main parts of the stadium, the Concourse Club there. But then one of the things they talked about was the community initiatives that they hope to be a part of. Kalia Kaliev was there talking a little bit about some of the things they hope to be a part of. I believe there's going to be some soccer camps coming up, I believe, at Cardinal Ritter High School on August 7th that I believe are going to be open to the public. They didn't really provide too many details on that other than the date and where they're going to be at. But they also hope to be a part of some other types of community events coming up within the next month or two as we continue, fight through these regulations and continue to open things back up. But I thought, it's an important step. In terms of what the company stands for, it's about financial literacy and kind of providing a helping service for people, who struggle on that front. So it's a good message to kind of get behind. And again, this is going to be an interesting partnership because they're the official banking partner of the club. They kind of got some exclusivity there. But hopefully, they continue to build upon this message that they're putting out there. And these camps are a good start, and hopefully they continue that. I know that's community relations and community initiatives have been important to you. And so far, these are kind of the initial first steps of what they're trying to plan out.
Yeah, it's always important, if you can get corporate sponsorship to fuel those. We've always lacked in those areas with Club Atletico, never having those big checks written. And so time will tell what they do with it. Is it a branding? Is it publicity? Or are they really a part of the true socioeconomic issue we have in St. Louis and are truly going to rise that up? It's more important on the community outreach to think beyond the field. Community Credit Union would be an amazing partner for City as long as they are balanced and doing it for the right reason with City, and time will tell. Camps and things like that for pictures and publicity is one thing, but this city knows better. And so we would be looking closely and rooting for that player. You want to root for that local kid who did the very first city camp sponsored by Credit Union several years ago, and now he's 17, 19 years old and playing with City. Mm-hmm. So you won't see anything for several years of what the impact is. And we have to hang tight and support City along the way and all these various sponsors along the way and be patient. So stay positive and look for the next chapter with that new partnership.
Right. Yep. It's not always about just throwing money at the issue. It's about throwing money behind programs that hopefully can address the issue. I was okay and impressed with different parts of this type of announcement. Again, it was a big deal for them in terms of what it means for their company. They had previous partnerships with sports teams before, but I don't think they had it on the type of level that St. Louis City is going to be. So we'll see. But it was an exciting day there. Another thing that kind of broke, this has not been made official yet. This was just reporting from The Athletic this past week, but there have been rumors that former Louisville City FC manager John Hackworth will be joining City in a technical type of role, working side by side with Lutz. If you don't know, John Hackworth was very successful during his time at Louisville. I believe won back-to-back championships with them in the USL Championship, also took them to a conference final. Previous success with the U.S. youth national teams at the under-17 level, previous success with the Philadelphia Union, working in type of an academy technical type director role. So this is a big deal. If he is to join up with St. Louis City SC and bring his tremendous experience, do I think he's going to be the first team coach? No, I don't think so. We've seen now with this academy hire, if you bring in someone like Lutz, you're not just going to hire someone, from one of these lower levels here in America. I think we're going to go outside the box with our head coach. But in terms of someone with that type of experience who can help in a variety of different roles, maybe work his way into like a lead academy type role or be one of the academy coaches. Who knows? But I think this would be an interesting hire. I didn't know if you're familiar with Hackworth's work, Rick, but in terms of hiring someone from the USL Championship predominantly, but also someone with youth national team experience, to me that seems like a home run.
And I think it's very important to have someone who's had success at the lower leagues, because there's such a disconnect from the MLS to the lower leagues. You know how U.S. soccer is kind of crazy. You have all these different leagues and all these different divisions, and they don't communicate. So I love the hire of giving someone opportunity who's had a good career in the lower divisions.
Yeah, so again, like we said, this is just based off of reporting. But again, the Athletics got a great track record on these issues. So again, based on that, would be really exciting to see Hackworth join up here with St. Louis City SC. So again, big week from the club, a lot of positives, and again, a lot of developments that we'll have to keep an eye on here going on into the future. But again, it's getting to that time where the timeline gets to be shortened. There's going to be a lot of announcements coming up here soon with the club, and we'll be here to cover it all for you here on Atletico TV. All right, that's going to do it for right now for this week's episode of Atletico TV. But before we go, Rick, in terms of, an update on what Club Atletico are doing here, you're on the verge of preseason here in a couple of weeks. And obviously, you've got your hands in a few different projects around here. Give us an update. What's going on?
Yeah, we close out this summer training program for Club Atletico. We've had some great players from Rolla to Maryville and SIUE and IUPUI and Webster University and various more. And it's been a great experience for not only us, but for the players. We're going to keep that rolling next year. I did college ID camp this weekend with SIUE and was able to talk to some of these coaches about their players. And they're really excited to have that platform. And that's what we're about, is just creating that platform for more players. A lot of college teams getting ready. They're rolling out. NCAA is allowing preseason to start in July. Some teams are already doing that. My college, St. Louis, is starting up on August 2nd, heading out of town. So that's looking good for me. Is the team that's coming through. We're going to be pretty darn strong and just kind of rejuvenate in Florida and come back home. But we want the community to also know that Atletico TV, although this is kind of the end of the summer season for us, we will be back in action this fall. A lot more in person, not as much as a weekly show, but more covering soccer stories around. And we're just adapting. Luis now will be really focused at St. Louis City. He's still going to be a great resource for us. I'm sure we'll get together with some coaches' breakdowns, but also like I said several months ago when you were saying you started your podcast, and we've worked together on the radio for a couple of years. That's when I got to know you, and from the very first experience I had, I was like, why isn't this kid talking more? And you know so much, Josh. And so we just want to congratulate you on getting your new role, a well-deserved role. I knew you had this potential. This is why when this opportunity came for the show, I told Kyle Garcia that I would not want to be a host when I know there's another person that would be perfect, which is you. And that's because you're passionate, you're really good. And I knew you were going to be going somewhere. So we wanted this to be a stepping stone. Again, platform. That's all what we're about here. So, again, congratulations to you. Thank you for raising the level of what this show is. If we did not work it out to have you a part of this, I don't believe the Atletico TV would be as quality as it has been. I mean, tremendous. You're a great asset. Upper Iowa is getting an amazing asset. You're very professional. And we still plan on stealing you here and there for Atletico TV, but why don't you tell the audience where you're going and what your next chapter is?
Well, first of all, thank you for all those kind words. I don't think I can cover everything you just said. You ran the gambit there, but it's been great to be a part of this show. And like you said, I had high hopes that one day that I would use it to, move on to the next step of my career. I just didn't know when. And up till this point, I didn't think it'd be for a while, but, life comes at you fast. So I'll be moving on here next month in August to be the lead broadcaster at Upper Iowa University, provide play-by-play for 9 different sports, including men's and women's soccer, which I'm really looking forward to because as always, soccer's been my passion. And I'll also be doing color commentary for football, which is an exciting, idea for me because I've never gotten to do that. But again, I just want to thank you, and again, thank Local Network STL here for providing us this platform for the show, because it's important. It's important on many different levels. It's important to continue to talk about the game of soccer, which I think and still believe is the game that brings the most people together around the world more than any other sport, and to continue to learn more about this area, learn about all the soccer that is involved with it, how it works together, and how it fills different voids for different people. Speaking of that, also, what this show's main goal is to reach out to people in the community, to provide that platform for people doing good work, and provide that platform for people doing necessary work that needs to be highlighted for those who need it. And I think, continuing going forward, you guys are not going to need me much on that front. That is mostly what you do, my friend, and how much you do for this community through not just coaching, but through all of your community initiatives. So I know that's going to continue to be great going forward. And again, like you said, we've had Luis, we've brought in Ashley, who's done great work here. And again, Loco has been excellent in providing us this platform. I know they'll continue to support us in the future. So yes, the appearances are going to be, much fewer going forward, but hopefully I find some time to zoom in occasionally from month to month, checking on you guys, and also provide my analysis from afar, I guess, and to be able to look at it from an outside perspective. But still, very excited for this new opportunity. Hoped it would come. Glad it eventually did, just a lot sooner than I thought. So, but again, much appreciative, and thank you for your support for my career. Finally, having the payoff come. So, this has been fun. But we're not stopping, like you said. We got so much to do. There's so much to cover going on right now and into the fall, when you and Luis and everybody will be into coaching. The seasons will be full swing, college through the pros. So it's going to be a good time for this show. Again, looking forward to see what you guys can come up with from afar, and coming in to provide my analysis when I can. So again, this has been fun. It's been a great summer of soccer. It'll continue here for a little bit. And geez, we're only a few weeks away from the Premier League and all those other seasons. I'm just so happy. It's been a great, summer to kind of just sit down and just watch, and it's been real fun. So again, we hope you all have enjoyed this episode of Atletico TV. Again, thank you to Loco, our producer Key, for helping us out with this show. Glad to be back in the studio this week, and again, hopefully going forward, we'll be able to provide more content for you all. So again, thank you all for watching. Have a great week, and we'll be back speaking with you very soon.
Have a good summer.